హాయ్ హలో అందరికీ నమస్కారం. స్టడీ ఐక్యూ కి స్వాగతం. సో మై డియర్ ఫ్రెండ్స్, ఈ పర్టిక్యులర్ లెక్చర్ లో మనం తెలంగాణ కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్ ఫర్ ది మంత్ ఆఫ్ ఫిబ్రవరి 2021 ని డిస్కస్ చేసుకుందాం. సో ఫిబ్రవరి 2021 కి సంబంధించినటువంటి తెలంగాణ కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్ ని ఈ పర్టిక్యులర్ లెక్చర్ లో మనం కవర్ చేద్దాం. సో ఫస్ట్ వి విల్ బిగిన్ విత్ సంఘమిత్ర. వాట్ ఈజ్ సంఘమిత్ర? సంఘమిత్ర is a flagship scheme. This particular scheme is conducted, or we can say this particular scheme is launched by the police department. So the police department has launched a scheme called Sanghamitra. Now what is this particular scheme and for what purpose this particular scheme was launched? See, Sanghamitra scheme is to spread awareness on women safety issues. Remember, the Sanghamitra scheme is to spread awareness on women safety issues. Now this particular scheme was launched by the Rachakonda Police Commissionerate. Now Rachakonda Police Commissionerate along with Rachakonda Security Council started this particular initiative called Sanghamitra. ఈ సంఘమిత్ర అనేటువంటి ఇనిషియేటివ్ లో ఏం జరుగుతుందంటే ఫ్రెండ్లీ పోలీసింగ్ అండి. ఫ్రెండ్లీ పోలీసింగ్ అంటే ఏంటి? when the police act very friendly to the public should not fear of police. They should feel police as their friends, as their savior. So whenever they have a problem, without any hesitation, without any doubt, the public should go to the police and consult them and seek help. That kind of friendly relation whenever is there, that is a state called welfare state. So to bring out such condition, police has started introducing friendly policing concept. Now through this friendly policing concept, police department is of the view to reach the public and tell them that the police are there to help them whenever there is a problem to them, especially the women. So in order to prevent the violence against women, the Rachakonda Police Commissionerate along with Rachakonda Security Council started this particular initiative called Sanghamitra. Remember, this initiative is called Sanghamitra. Okay, now we will move ahead and discuss about the first Kisan Rail from Telangana. What it is? The first Kisan Rail. Now before I tell you about the first Kisan Rail from Telangana, let me tell you what is Kisan Rail. Kisan Rail, ఇక్కడ మీకు రెండు పదాలు ఉన్నాయండి. కిసాన్ అంటే రైతు, రైల్ అంటే ట్రైన్ అండి. ఓకే, సో రైతుల కోసం ఉన్నటువంటి ట్రైన్. సో సౌత్ సెంట్రల్ రైల్వే ఫస్ట్ కిసాన్ రైల్ ని తెలంగాణ నుంచి స్టార్ట్ చేసిందండి. సో తెలంగాణ నుంచి స్టార్ట్ అయినటువంటి ఈ ఫస్ట్ కిసాన్ రైల్ ఏదైతే ఉందో ఇది టర్మరిక్ అంటే పసుపుని ట్రాన్స్పోర్ట్ చేయటం స్టార్ట్ చేసిందండి. సో పసుపుని లోడ్ చేసి తెలంగాణ నుంచి బయలుదేరింది. తెలంగాణలో ఉన్నటువంటి వరంగల్ రైల్వే స్టేషన్ నుంచి మనకి వెస్ట్ బెంగాల్ లో ఉన్నటువంటి బారాసత్ స్టేషన్ ఆఫ్ సియాల్దా డివిజన్ ఇక్కడికి ఈ పర్టికులర్ టర్మరిక్ ని ట్రాన్స్పోర్ట్ చేశారండి. ఫస్ట్ థింగ్స్ ఫస్ట్, వాట్ ఈజ్ కిసాన్ రైల్? సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్ మనకి ఒక కాన్సెప్ట్ స్టార్ట్ చేసింది, దాని పేరే కిసాన్ రైల్ అండి. సో ఈ కిసాన్ రైల్ ని ఎందుకు తీసుకొచ్చారు అంటే అగ్రికల్చర్ సెక్టర్ లో మేజర్ ప్రాబ్లం ఏంటంటే ప్రొడ్యూస్ చేసినటువంటి ఫార్మ్ ప్రొడక్ట్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో, అది రైస్ అవ్వచ్చు, మ్యాంగోస్ అవ్వచ్చు, వెజిటేబుల్స్ అవ్వచ్చు, లేదా స్పైసెస్ అవ్వచ్చు, వాటిని స్టోర్ చేయడం ఒక పెద్ద ప్రాబ్లం. దాని తర్వాత వేరే వేరే ప్రదేశాల్లో దాన్ని అమ్మాలి అని అంటే అక్కడి వరకు ఫార్మర్స్ వెళ్ళలేరండి. సో వాళ్ళు లోకల్ గా ఉన్నటువంటి బయర్స్ కి అమ్మేసి చాలా తక్కువగా అమ్మేసి నష్టాలని మూటగట్టుకునే వాళ్ళు. సో ఇప్పుడు పరిస్థితులు మారాయి. మనకి ఈ నామ్ వచ్చిందండి, ఈ నేషనల్ అగ్రికల్చరల్ మార్కెట్ వచ్చింది. సో దీని ద్వారా రైతులు వాళ్ళ పంటని దేశంలో ఏ మూల ఉన్నటువంటి ఏ పర్టికులర్ బయర్ కైనా సరే అమ్మొచ్చు. సో a farmer can sell his crop or his agricultural product to anybody throughout the country. Now the issue here is that he will be selling the crop, but how will he send that particular crop? What is the mode of transportation? Now that is very important. On the other hand, sometimes the farmers are not getting buyers just because of the transportation hassles. So in order to provide hassle-free transportation, safe and fast transport services for marketing of agricultural sector, the union government has come up with this concept called Kisan Rail. So the main aim of Kisan Rail is to boost the income for the farm sector, that is the agricultural sector, at the same time providing problemless, hassle-free, safe and fast transport services in order to help the marketing of agricultural sector. So that was the initiative behind the Kisan Rail. So as a part of the Kisan Rail, so many Kisan Rails were started from various states of our country, and they have helped the farmers transport important crops from one place to another place. So in the similar way, from Telangana also the first Kisan Rail started from Warangal station, and it had loaded turmeric and it transported it to West Bengal. Where in West Bengal? To Barasat station of Sialda division. So this was the initiative called Kisan Rail. So from Telangana, the South Central Railway has started the first Kisan Rail, okay, from Warangal. So this Kisan Rail initiative will assist the farm sector in marketing their agricultural produce for better price realization. Okay, so this was the information related to the first Kisan Rail from Telangana. Now we will move ahead and discuss about the global tree cities list. There is a list called global tree cities. Why we are discussing about this thing, I will let you know, but before that let me tell you what is this global tree city list. Now all over the world certain cities are recognized as global tree cities. Who will recognize this? There is a foundation called Arbor Day Foundation. Now this foundation along with the FAO, that is Food and Agriculture Organization of United Nations, in collaboration with this, the Arbor Day Foundation will recognize certain cities of this world as global tree cities. So for the year 2020, tree cities of the world's list has been launched, and among those tree cities of the world of 2020, Hyderabad city is recognized as the global tree city. That is the news here. Very, very important. Hyderabad city is recognized as global tree city. Now, how this particular recognition is given to a particular city and why this particular recognition is given, that we need to understand. Now, before that, let me tell you, Hyderabad is the only city in the country to get this particular recognition. Remember, from India, Hyderabad is the only city which got the recognition of global tree city. Okay, now why Hyderabad has been given this particular recognition? Because Hyderabad is recognized as the global tree city for the commitment of the city to growing and maintaining urban forest. తెలంగాణలో హరితహారం అనేటువంటి ఒక స్కీమ్ ని ఒక ప్రోగ్రామ్ ని లాంచ్ చేశారండి. సో వాట్ ఈస్ హరితహారం? త్రూ హరితహారం ది తెలంగాణ గవర్నమెంట్ intends to increase the urban forest. Now in urban areas pollution is a big problem, and with the increasing pollution levels the global warming is increasing. So with a view to curb this particular carbon emissions and to help revive the nature, the state government has launched a scheme called Haritaharam, through which the state government was very keen to establish the urban forests in various places of the cities. So it has taken up very seriously this particular scheme and it has implemented it properly. So because of that thing, the green cover has increased in Telangana to a great extent, especially in Hyderabad. So that's why Hyderabad was recognized as the global tree city by Arbor Day Foundation and Food and Agricultural Organization of United Nations. Okay, now while recognizing a particular city as the global tree city, 5 important standards are considered. Now what are those 5 standards that we will understand? One is establishing responsibility. That means having a written document, having a written statement where the leaders will be giving assurance that they will take care of the trees. See, simply if you plant tree and leave it for the animals to eat, it is of no use. So that's why the Telangana government has made it clear through the government order that whatever the trees have been planted, whatever the plants have been planted as a part of Haritaharam, those plants have to be taken care of. So here there is responsibility in terms of maintaining or growing the urban forest. Now the second one is setting the rules. So the city which has in place a law or an official policy that governs the management of forests and trees. Yes, we are having a law for this particular thing as a part of Haritaharam project. Okay, now the third thing is know what you have. The city has an updated inventory or assessment of local tree resource. Now this is very important. Now every year the state government, the Telangana state government, is giving the information that to what extent the green cover has extended because of the Haritaharam project. Okay, so this information is provided by the Telangana government. Now the fourth important standard that will be looked upon is allocating resources. Now how much of annual budget is allocated for the purpose of maintaining the trees under the urban forestry under Haritaharam project? Now that is very clearly mentioned in the budget that how much of allocations are made for the Haritaharam project. So this is also applicable to Telangana. That's why Hyderabad is recognized as the global tree city. Now the fifth standard that will be looked upon is celebrating the achievements. So many times in news news you may have seen that the Telangana Chief Minister Sir KCR Garu has launched certain programs, or they have conducted certain meetings celebrating the success of Harita Haram project. Now all these 5 standards were recognized in Hyderabad city. So Hyderabad city was considered as the global tree city. Okay, so this was the news. So we will move ahead and discuss about India Cycles for Change Challenge. Now remember, what is this program? India Cycles for Change Challenge. Now what is this program? Now before that, the main issue here is that Hyderabad and Warangal are the 2 cities from Telangana that are chosen for this particular program called India Cycles for Change Challenge. See, cycling is a very important component to reduce the carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide emissions from the vehicles. When you use the vehicles so rampantly on roads, definitely it is causing for most of the pollution. Okay, so in order to reduce that sort of pollution, so many countries in the world are choosing the sustainable options, the eco-friendly options in order to deal with the pollution. So what they are doing, instead of using the petrol and diesel vehicles, they are switching to the electric vehicles, and they are also encouraging the citizens to use bicycles. Now using bicycles will enhance your health. On one hand, it will reduce your fat, it will burn your fat, and you will become very slim and look like a hero. And on the other hand, it will not have any emissions which are harmful for the environment. So that was the strategy. Now through this particular India Cycles for Change Challenge, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, remember, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs is sponsoring the India Cycles for Change Challenge. Now this is sponsored by the central government through the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Okay, so this particular ministry has launched this particular program called India Cycles for Change Challenge. Okay, so as a part of this particular program, under the phase 1, 25 cities have been selected for this particular program. Now under this program, what will happen? The Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs Smart Cities Mission, under this particular mission, it will create extensive cycling networks and low cost interventions like pop-up cycle lanes and traffic calmed or non-motorized zones. ఇప్పుడు కొన్ని పర్టికులర్ ఏరియాస్ ఉంటాయండి, ఎక్కడైతే ఎక్కువగా ట్రాఫిక్ ఉంటుందో, ఎక్కడైతే ఎక్కువ పొల్యూషన్ ఉంటుందో, అటువంటి ప్రదేశాల్లో ప్రజలు సైకిల్స్ పైన వెళ్లే విధంగా మీరు వాళ్ళకి సెపరేట్ గా ర్యాంప్ ని ప్రొవైడ్ చేయడం. ఇప్పుడు వాళ్ళు హైవే మీద సైకిల్స్ నడిపినట్లయితే రోడ్డు ప్రమాదాలు జరిగేటువంటి అవకాశం ఉంటుంది. అలా కాకుండా సైకిల్స్ నడపడానికి సెపరేట్ గా ట్రాక్స్ ఉంటాయండి ఫారిన్ కంట్రీస్ లో. సో అటువంటి ర్యాంప్స్ ని, ట్రాక్స్ ని క్రియేట్ చేయడం, సైకిల్ లేన్స్ ని క్రియేట్ చేయడం, అలాగే కొన్నిసార్లు కొన్ని పర్టికులర్ జోన్స్ ని రికగ్నైజ్ చేసి వాటిని ట్రాఫిక్ కామ్డ్ ఆర్ నాన్ మోటరైజ్డ్, అంటే అక్కడ ఎటువంటి మోటార్ వెహికల్స్ ని యూజ్ చేయకుండా రిస్ట్రిక్షన్స్ పెట్టి ఓన్లీ సైకిల్స్ ని మాత్రమే అలౌ చేస్తారు. సో ఇలాంటి ఇనిషియేటివ్స్ తీసుకుని సైకిల్స్ పైన ప్రజలు ఒక చోటు నుంచి ఇంకొక చోటుకి కమ్యూట్ అయ్యే విధంగా ఇక్కడ ప్రభుత్వం కొన్ని చర్యలు చేపడుతుంది. సో దట్ ఈస్ ఆల్ అబౌట్ ఇండియా సైకిల్స్ ఫర్ చేంజ్ ఛాలెంజ్. సో త్రూ దిస్ పర్టికులర్ program, the government is of the intention to introduce cycling to the public, to make people go for cycling so that they can improve their health as well as the environment. So the cities under this particular program, the cities whichever have been selected for this particular challenge, they could launch programs such as community led cycle rental schemes, and they can promote the usage of cycles through public events and outreach. So certain programs in petti ee particular cities cycling patla awareness ని క్రియేట్ చేయాల్సినటువంటి అవసరం ఉంది. అదే ఇక్కడ ఈ ప్రోగ్రామ్ లో చేస్తారు. సో తెలంగాణ నుంచి ఫస్ట్ ఫేజ్ లో సెలెక్ట్ అయిన 2 cities ఏవండి? హైదరాబాద్ అండ్ వరంగల్. సో both these cities were chosen for India Cycles for Change Challenge. That was the news. We will move ahead and discuss about Sri Pattabhi Sitarama Swami temple. Now why we are discussing about this particular temple? We are discussing about this particular temple because this Sri Pattabhi Sitarama Swami temple was established by Rani Rudramadevi of Kakatiya dynasty. Remember, this was established by Rani Rudramadevi of Kakatiya dynasty. Now Kakatiyas is a very important topic of the Telangana history part. So we need to concentrate on any news that is related to the Kakatiya kingdom or the Kakatiya dynasty. So there was a news that certain archaeologists have found that this particular temple was established or founded by Rani Rudramadevi of Kakatiya dynasty. Now why is it so special? Generally this particular temple belongs to the 13th century. Okay, now it is very popularly known as Sri Santana Venugopala Swami temple by the local people. Now where it is located? It is located in Brahmana Kottapalli village in Nellikudur mandal of Mahabubabad district. So this is the location of this particular temple. Why is it so special? Because the Kakatiya kings, they always worshipped Shiva. Okay, they always worshipped Shiva. But for the first time, there is an evidence that Rani Rudramadevi has established a temple which belongs to Vishnu. That is, means Rama is the avatar of the incarnation of Vishnu only. Right? So, Rani Rudramadevi has established a temple especially for Sita Ramaswamy. So, that's why this particular temple is very special. Not only that, there are special carvings on the temple doors. Now, the carvings are related to Lord Hanuma in different ways. So it is a very unique way of building. Okay, so that's why this was discussed by some archaeologists and this was there in that particular news. So I thought I should give you this particular information. It can be helpful in any way. Okay, so that was all about Sri Pattabhi Sita Ramaswamy temple. Now let us move ahead and discuss about TSDCR. What is TSDCR? TS is Telangana, DCR is nothing but DCR means Development Control Regulation. What is it? Development Control Regulation. So there is a portal called dcrportal.telangana.gov.in. What is this particular portal is for? This particular portal is developed by the Telangana government only. Now, it is an online platform through which whenever a particular person wants to get building permission for the building he is going to construct, he will upload the CAD drawings. What is CAD drawings? See, using a particular software, you can design the 3D model of the building that you are going to construct. Now, that particular plan you will upload to this particular portal and the server-based scrutiny system, this will be available for the citizens. So, whoever is uploading this particular plan onto this particular portal, it will be scrutinized through online only. So the architects, to verify the building or layout drawing plans, they will get the permission from respective authority in just one day. So in order to minimize the human intervention, in order to give the building permission to the citizens, whenever a particular person is going to build a particular building or he is going to have a construction in a particular place, he needs to get the no objection certificate from the government or the municipality. So in order to get that, he needs to go to the government office where he has to pass through so many sections in order to get the permission. So there is a scope of corruption here. So in order to eliminate the corruption element, the government has come up with this particular portal called TSDCR, where the person will upload the CAD drawings to this particular portal, and without any human intervention, this new system will allow the person to get approval or rejection maximum within a day. So in just one day, you will either get your building plan get approved, or if there is any complication, then your building plan will be rejected by this particular portal. So this particular new system is designed in such a way that there is no human interference as far as the building or layout plan approval is concerned. So that was the specialty of TSDCR. So in order to regulate the building plans, this particular portal is there where there is no human interference, and within just one day a person can get either approval or rejection. So there is not much delay in getting permission for buildings. So in order to make things easy and corruption free, the government has come up with this particular portal called dcrportal.telangana.gov.in. So this was all about TSDCR. Now we will discuss about the quota that is given for economically weaker sections. Now the Telangana government has notified quota for the economically weaker sections. Now these particular reservations are as per the central guidelines. Now what are the central guidelines? How much is the reservation for the economically weaker sections? That we will discuss here. 10% is the reservation given for the economically weaker sections. Now regarding this particular reservation, the Telangana government has notified the reservation. Now what are the central guidelines and what is the other information related to the reservation that is given to the economically weaker sections? Now in 2019 there was an amendment, that is 103rd constitutional amendment through this particular amendment, reservations were provided to the economically weaker sections. Earlier there was reservation for the scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and economically backward castes in education and employment. Now this particular reservation is extended to the economically weaker sections. Remember this particular point. Which constitutional amendment act? That is 103rd Constitutional Amendment Act. 103వ రాజ్యాంగ సవరణ ద్వారా ఆర్థికంగా వెనుకబడిన వర్గాల వారికి ఇక్కడ 10% రిజర్వేషన్ ని కల్పించడం జరిగింది. Now the central government has prescribed certain rules or the eligibility criteria in order to avail the 10% reservation. So if anybody belongs to the economically weaker section, in order to avail this 10% reservation, they should follow certain rules. Now what are those particular rules? The income of the family of that particular person who is applying for this particular reservation, his family income should be below 8 lakh rupees per annum. సంవత్సర ఆదాయం అనేది 8 లక్షల కంటే తక్కువ ఉన్నట్లయితే మాత్రమే, అతని ఫ్యామిలీ ఇన్కమ్ 8 లక్షల కంటే తక్కువ అయినట్లయితే మాత్రమే ఆ పర్టికులర్ వ్యక్తికి ఎకనామికలీ వీకర్ సెక్షన్ అనేటువంటి రిజర్వేషన్ అప్లికబుల్ అవుతుంది. నౌ వి హావ్ డిస్క్రైబ్డ్ దట్ బిలో 8 lakh per annum should be the ceiling on the income. Now what is income? Now income can be in any way. Income includes all sources such as salary, agriculture, business or any profession. Now sometimes the agricultural income is exempted from taxes, right? So if there is any complication like this here, there might be some law related complication. So that's why in the eligibility criteria, the central government has clearly mentioned that what sort of incomes are calculated. All sort of income sources such as salary, agriculture, business and other professions are also considered. So it should have been earned in the financial year prior to the year of application. For example, in 2012 he is applying, then in 2011 whatever the income he got, his family got, that income would be considered, and if he is getting below 8 lakh per annum, then he will be eligible to get the economically weaker sections reservation. Now there is some more information. What kind of people will not get benefits of economically weaker sections reservation? Now if any person who is having or whose family is having 5 acres of agricultural land or more than that, then he is not eligible to get the EWS reservation. Now the other persons whose family is having a residential flat of 1000 square feet and above, or a residential plot of 100 square yards and above in notified municipalities, and residential plot of 200 square yards and above in areas other than notified municipalities. In such a case, that particular person will not get the benefit of economically weaker sections reservation. Is it clear? Now we will move ahead and discuss about the grants that is given to Mission Bhagiratha by the 15th Finance Commission. The 15th Finance Commission has given its report in which the grants to various state governments and other programs have been clearly mentioned. So the 15th Finance Commission has given a grant of 2,350 crore rupees for the operation and maintenance of Mission Bhagiratha. You all know what is Mission Bhagiratha, so we don't need to discuss that particular thing here. But the issue is that how much have been granted by the 15th Finance Commission? That is 2,350 crore rupees has been allocated. That means it is the recommendation of a grant. So how much is recommended by the 15th Finance Commission? 2,350 crore rupees for Mission Bhagiratha. But the irony here is that the Niti Aayog has recommended an assistance of 19,205 crore rupees for Mission Bhagiratha. Niti Aayog ఏం చెప్పిందంటే మిషన్ భగీరథ లాంటి బృహత్తరమైనటువంటి కార్యక్రమానికి 19,205 కోట్ల రూపాయలు ఇస్తే బాగుంటుంది అని రికమెండేషన్ ఇచ్చిందండి. కానీ ఈ రికమెండేషన్ అనేది రియాలిటీలోకి మారలేదు, వాస్తవంలోకి మారలేదు. ఎందుకు మారలేదు అంటే ఫినాన్స్ కమిషన్ తను రికమెండ్ చేసినటువంటి గ్రాంట్ ఎంత అండి మిషన్ భగీరథకి? 2,350 కోట్లు మాత్రమే. ఎందుకు ఇలా తక్కువ అలొకేట్ చేయడం జరిగింది? ఎందుకు ఇలా తక్కువ గ్రాంట్ రికమెండ్ చేయడం జరిగింది అంటే ఫినాన్స్ కమిషన్ దీనికి చెప్పినటువంటి కారణం ఏంటంటే ది స్టేట్ హ్యాడ్ బ్రాట్ హ్యూజ్ లోన్స్ ఫర్ సోషల్ ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ విచ్ రిజల్ట్స్ ఇన్ టు మౌంటింగ్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ పేమెంట్స్. ఇట్ కెన్ కాజ్ ఫిస్కల్ ఛాలెంజ్. సో ఆర్థిక పరంగా చూసుకున్నట్లయితే రాష్ట్ర ప్రభుత్వం చాలా ఎక్కువ మొత్తంలో అప్పులు తీసుకురావటం వల్ల, ఎస్పెషల్లీ సోషల్ ఇన్ఫ్రాస్ట్రక్చర్ ని డెవలప్ చేయడానికి అప్పులు తీసుకురావటం వల్ల ఇయర్ బై ఇయర్ రాష్ట్ర ప్రభుత్వం కట్టవలసినటువంటి వడ్డీ ఏదైతే ఉంటుందో అది పెరిగిపోతుంది. సో దీని వల్ల ఆర్థికంగా రాష్ట్ర ప్రభుత్వం దెబ్బతినేటువంటి అవకాశం ఉంది కాబట్టి ఇటువంటి పరిస్థితుల్లో ఇంకా మేము ఎక్స్ట్రా గ్రాంట్ ఇవ్వటం సరికాదు అని భావిస్తున్నామని ఫైనాన్స్ కమిషన్ చెప్పడం జరిగింది. సో దిస్ వాస్ ద న్యూస్ దట్ వాట్ వాస్ ద రికమెండేషన్ ఆఫ్ 15th ఫైనాన్స్ కమిషన్ రిగార్డింగ్ ది గ్రాంట్ ఫర్ మిషన్ భగీరథ. నౌ వి విల్ మూవ్ ahead and discuss about an award called BioAsia's Genome Valley Excellence Award for the year 2020. Now this particular award, that is BioAsia's Genome Valley Excellence Award, is being given since 2004. So since 2004, the government of Telangana has instituted this Genome Valley Excellence Award. Okay. సో 2004 నుంచి తెలంగాణ ప్రభుత్వం ఈ అవార్డు ఇవ్వటం జరుగుతుంది. సో ప్రతి సంవత్సరం ఇన్ ఎవ్రీ ఎడిషన్ ఆఫ్ బయో ఏషియా this Genome Valley Excellence Award is given. So for the year 2020, BioAsia's Genome Valley Excellence Award is presented to Bharat Biotech. Now we all know about Bharat Biotech. It is in news. Bharat Biotech has developed the Covaxin, the vaccine for COVID-19. Okay. Not only that, for the research and development that the Bharat Biotech has made in order to develop Covaxin and other vaccines like rabies vaccine, rotavirus vaccine, Japanese encephalitis vaccine, polio vaccine, typhoid conjugate vaccine, and certain other vaccines. In developing these vaccines, Bharat Biotech has conducted extensive research and it has taken part in developing these vaccines. So for this kind of contribution that Bharat Biotech had made, for this contribution, BioAsia's Genome Valley Excellence Award 2020 is presented to Bharat Biotech. Now Bharat Biotech is located in Telangana only, that is in Hyderabad only. So this Genome Valley Excellence Award was introduced to recognize and honor eminent individuals and organizations for their exceptional contribution to the life sciences research and public health. So life sciences research lo mariyu public health lo exceptional contribution చేసినటువంటి ఇండివిజువల్స్ కి లేదా ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్ ని గుర్తించడానికి BioAsia's Genome Valley Excellence Award అనేది ఇవ్వడం జరుగుతుంది. So for the year 2020, Bharat Biotech got this particular award. Now the last current affair for this month is the ethanol plant that will be established in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. So what plant is being established? Ethanol plant. What is ethanol? Ethanol is the fuel that you will be extracting from the agricultural waste. Okay. So where this particular ethanol plants are being established? In Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Who will be establishing these ethanol plants? The Indian Oil Corporation is planning to set up the ethanol plant in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. So with 600 crore rupees each in each state, with a total investment of 1200 crores, ethanol plant will be established in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. So 600 crores will be invested in each state in order to establish the ethanol plant. So who is establishing? Indian Oil Corporation. Now this particular ethanol plant will be a food grain based mega scale ethanol production. Remember, it is a food grain based. అంటే ఏంటి, ఇక్కడ ఇథెనాల్ ని ఫుడ్ గ్రెయిన్స్ ని యూజ్ చేసి తయారు చేస్తారండి. సో జనరల్ గా మనకి షుగర్ కేన్ ఏదైతే ఉంటుందో దాని ద్వారా కూడాను ఇథెనాల్ తయారు చేస్తారు, లేదా కార్న్ అండి, అంటే మనకి జొన్నలు ఏవైతే ఉంటాయో వాటి ద్వారా కూడాను ఇక్కడ ఇథెనాల్ ని తయారు చేస్తారండి. సో అలానే ఇక్కడ ఫుడ్ గ్రెయిన్స్ ని ఏవైతే మనకి ఫుడ్ గ్రెయిన్స్ పాడైపోయి మనకి ఉంటాయో వాటి నుంచి కూడా ఇథెనాల్ తయారు చేయవచ్చు. సో ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ లో, తెలంగాణలో ఇండియన్ ఆయిల్ కార్పొరేషన్ ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ చేయబోయే ఇథెనాల్ ప్లాంట్ లో ఫుడ్ గ్రెయిన్స్ ని యూజ్ చేసి ఇథెనాల్ అనేది ఎక్స్ట్రాక్ట్ చేస్తారు. సో స్పాయిల్డ్ అండ్ సర్ప్లస్ ఫుడ్ grain from the Food Corporation of India would be used to generate the ethanol. So each plant in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh will have a capacity of generating 5 lakh liters per day. So 5 lakh liters of ethanol can be generated per day in each plant in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. So those two plants will be established. Once they are established, again we will discuss about this particular news. So this was all about the February month current affairs of Telangana. I hope you have understood, and if there is any mistake, please forgive me. I will try to correct it if you let me know. So I think it will be helpful for you. Keep going, keep trying hard. One day you will definitely succeed. Don't think about what world says. It is important that what you think about yourself. That's all for now. Thank you very much. Keep smiling. All the very best.